Happy New Year! Well, today I'm sharing the best of 2015 with you, just like last year. If you'd like to check out last year's video, I will link them below. I'm pretty sure last year I split it up into two parts, beauty and then lifestyle. I'm going to try to fit everything in one video today. And what I did last year, and I kind of wanted to stick with this again, is I only mentioned brand new products to me. If some of you follow my monthly favorites, then some of these won't be any surprise. There may be a few snuck in there, but I only like to include like brand new products to me that year. So if I don't mention something, that's why I've probably been using it for years, or maybe I mentioned it the year before last. So let's go ahead and get going right away. So first thing is I have to mention the It CC Cream. As many of you know that have been following me on my journey with this, years ago when it first came out, I was not a fan, and I've found a way to make it work. I will link that video below. I just did one recently at your request, wanting to know, how I made it work, because so many of you, it doesn't work for you either, and I can totally relate because I was there myself. So love this, and lately I've been mixing it with different foundations. The one recently is the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous, and I actually, if you follow me on Twitter, I just did a tweet saying I found it on clearance at Target, so I hope they're not discontinuing that foundation, but it made it look like they were. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on each product. If I have specific reviews or other videos mentioning these products, I will link them below. Again, I'm trying to condense all this into one big video. So keeping with foundation would be another one of my favorites. This is the Becca Mineral Powder Foundation. I totally have Angie from Hot and Flashy to thank for this. I know many of us watched her continually use it, and her skin just looked so great. And then she did a video on it, reviewing it, showed how she applied it and so forth. Well, I knew I had to go out and try it, and I absolutely love it. I have it in two shades I've shown before, depending on, what my skin's doing, what time of year it is. So I have nude, which is actually very yellow. And then I have it in shell, which is much more neutral, but a lot lighter. And I've actually repurchased it in the shell. And I am wearing this a little bit today over the CC Cream mixed with the CoverGirl Ready Set Gorgeous. I just wanted a little bit extra coverage today. So these are absolutely fantastic. To me, they are great at giving that little bit of extra coverage over a CC Cream. And I just feel like they really minimize any problems you may have. At least on me, I feel like they do. So let's stick with face products. The Milani blush, this is in Romantic Rose. And I bought this back in the spring, I think around May, on our trip to Charleston, South Carolina, because I couldn't find it around me. And I just absolutely love this. I am wearing this today. It's just a really pretty rose color. To me, it's one of those that looks beautiful any time of year. I especially loved it in the spring and summer though, but absolutely love this. So happy I purchased it and was able to find it. And as you can see, I've barely made a dent in it. You can still see the rose form on it, and I use this every day for I don't know how long. So let's talk some lips. This will be no surprise to many of you. I have talked this product to death. What I have on today is the Too Faced Naked Dolly. Ever since I found this lipstick months ago, I just can't stop wearing it. To me, it's the perfect nude for my skin tone. Now, I do usually have to have a liner with a little bit deeper color. Today, I am wearing the Milani pencil in nude. It's a little bit of a pink nude. Or, it will disappear right into my skin like any nude lipstick would be. So that's kind of a tip. I've mentioned this in many videos before. It is a very creamy formula, so sometimes I know that doesn't work for a lot of people. I make sure I blot really well, and I also make sure a lot of times I'll wear a gloss just in the center. Today I don't have any gloss on. But again, you can see how much of it I've used. I think I just talked about this again in my December favorites. But it is just a really pretty pink nude lip color. And of course, it's showing up with a lot more color on my hand because my hand is obviously quite a bit lighter than my face. But absolutely love this. Love the formula of those as well. Another lip product that I pretty much wore throughout the whole spring and a lot of the summer even. This was new to me in the spring. This is Maybelline Blushing Bud. So it was in this pretty little pink packaging they came out with. This to me is just a perfect springtime color. I really found that I loved this with my skin tone. So there it is. Just, again, a really pretty fresh pink color. Again, great for spring. I'm really looking forward to wearing this again here in the next month or so when I start breaking out more of my spring makeup colors. Okay, this all started from the blush basically in this palette, and I believe I do have a get ready with me video featuring this because I was wearing this in my December favorites. Many of you asked me for a video on it, and a lot of times I'm so sorry, I really don't remember what I did. It's like I'll just start putting colors together and it's really hard for me to recreate a look unless it's one that I continually keep doing the exact same thing. But again, I do have a similar look. I know probably using this lipstick and this palette in a get ready with me, I will link below. But that is the Tarte palette, and this was Be Your Own Tartist. I don't know if that's the exact name of this one, but it was a QVC exclusive. I don't believe you can get this anymore, so I kind of hate talking about it, but I used it so much, I feel like I should. And some of you have this palette, I know. What started my love for this palette was the blush, and many of you know I went on a quest to find a dupe for this blush so that if I didn't want to travel with this whole palette, I could travel with the blush. Some of you gave me some great suggestions. Thank you. I've still not found one exactly like this. I wish Tarte would put this in their permanent line. Then I started actually loving the eyeshadows that were in it. I mainly used these over here and then this one. I really didn't use this really deep purple a whole lot. But love these eyeshadows. I mean, they went on really, really smoothly. This whole palette is just perfection. It was one of those I didn't have to think about. And again, that blush was absolutely gorgeous for spring and summertime. So I do have to mention really quick, since we're on the subject of Tarte. I bought that big kit with the sequins and stuff on it at Christmas, and it has these individuals. I don't love these as much. I don't think the quality of these is as good as this one, so I've been disappointed in that. A palette that I am loving, and I really didn't want to include it in favorites of 2015 because I just got it at the end of 2015, like right before Christmas. Took it with me to Florida to my parents' house. If you watched that What's in My Makeup Bag video, I said, I showed where I took it, but I hadn't used it yet. So I really didn't start using it until this last week or so, but I'm absolutely loving the Tartelette in Bloom palette, and that is what I'm wearing today. These are just right up my alley. These are the kind of shades that I absolutely love. I have to have certain things in a palette to make it what works for me. So again, I do love this. To me, it's the same quality of this. I just thought it was a little early to mention it in 2015, but wanted to talk about it because I was talking about the other ones not being a great quality. So you get where I'm coming from. Okay, the Anastasia Brow Wiz in Taupe. Now, the Brow Wiz in general is not new to me, but the color Taupe is. So I did want to mention this product. Many of you have been complimenting me on my eyebrows for the last several months. Thank you so much. And it has been ever since I've been using this shade. So many of you are like, oh, they look so natural. I like eyebrows, especially when you have more blonde hair, to be a little bit deeper. The rule of thumb is go 2 shades lighter or 2 shades darker. My brow hair individually, now that it's thankfully growing back a little, it's pretty dark. So it's hard to find that in between, like if I use too light a brow pencil, then you can see the actual individual hairs that are darker. But if I use the medium brown, which is what I was using, it looks a little harsh now that my hair's a little bit lighter. I have the Taupe in the dip brow, but I have to say lately I'm not loving the dip brow as much as I was. I kind of go back and forth because this is a lot for me to have, because I have so much to fill in to use a tiny little pencil, but I do feel like it looks more natural, and obviously that's translating because that's what you all are saying as well. So the color Taupe, if you're needing something natural, you have hair color like mine or lighter, this is perfection. All right, let's talk about a nail polish. I will insert some pictures here. I am wearing this right now, but it's starting to chip off because I've had it on for several days. This is the Nails Inc. The Victoria Beckham, and this is in the shade Bamboo White. I absolutely love this polish. I think it's definitely one everybody needs in their collection. I have seen this on many different skin tones and it looks great on everyone. It just has the perfect tones in it. It's like, it's not too neutral because a lot of us with fair skin, Too neutral can just look dead. Like you look like mannequin hands. And I know some people like that. I don't think that's a good look. Like you need a little bit of color. It's almost got like a little bit of pink, a little bit of gray, a little bit of white. Like it's just the perfect color, like I said, for everyone. Whether you're light skin tone, deep skin tone, everybody in between, it just looks great. And it's a great formula. It is a little pricey, but it's a nice heavy bottle. Again, you can see the color here, and I am wearing it, but I'll put in a better picture. This has definitely been one of my favorite all-time polishes. I love a good nude pink. That's definitely my go-to. This is a great formula, and it lasts a long time. So just can't say enough good things about this. I definitely think everybody needs this. The Dior Lip Maximizer. Many of you know I had that little bitty sample, which I'm almost out of. So I went ahead and bought the full size during one of the Sephora sales, and I'm so happy with this. I really love it. It says Collagen Active on it. It definitely plumps your lips a little bit, but without any minty or burning feeling. It just kind of gets rid of the lines, smooths it a little. I like to wear it a lot under lipstick, so I'll put this on while I'm putting foundation on, let it sink in. I might need to blot it off slightly before I put something on, but have just really loved this. It's one of those just go-to products. Pricey, but they last, actually I think a pretty long time. The Erin perfume. So this is the Erin Amber Musk. This is definitely a new favorite. I just, bought this a few months back, but I cannot stop wearing it. It's definitely a great perfume for this time of year. And I will try to put the notes in here somewhere because I'm just terrible about describing things. But it definitely has like a warm, musky scent. This has been a favorite since I found Tory Burch. So when Tory Burch first came out with her perfume a couple of years ago, I loved it. I have several little bottles, rollers, you name it. I have so many of those because it has just been my absolute favorite perfume. So I feel like if you like that, but you want like a little bit more, like nighttime musky kind of scent or something for the winter, I think you would like this. Unfortunately, I don't believe it's sold in stores. I think it's online only, this particular one, but I have been so happy with it. I just love it. It's just, I can't even explain, like, it's just a nice sexy scent without being overpowering. All right, the Jergens Foaming Tanner. Oh my God, hallelujah. Something for us pale skin girls that goes on great, is very natural looking. Love this. I do get the deep bronze. I've mentioned this before. I feel like almost the paler you are, the darker you need, or it looks orange or streaky or fake. I do use this with a mitt. I feel like the mitt is the key to a lot of self-tanners, but especially a foam for getting an even application. This is probably my second or third bottle of this. Absolutely love it. It doesn't have like a real obnoxious scent. I do notice it sometimes real late at night, depending on how many hours before I've applied it. It's not like sickening like a lot of them. And it says it dries in 60 seconds. It does dry really quick. That's what I love about this. I do love some others, but either the scent is crazy or it takes forever to dry. And I'm impatient. I mean, especially this time of year when it's cold and I want to self-tan my legs. It's like, ooh, I need to get it dry, put on some sweats quick. So absolutely love this. So, okay, we've got beauty covered. Let's talk some lifestyle favorites. This is basically, going to be TV shows I watch, food, whatever. So let's start with TV. At the beginning of 2015, most of you know, I was recouping from some skin cancer surgery on my ankle, and I was laid up for like a week. I couldn't walk on it. So a lot of sitting around. So I started watching One Tree Hill on Netflix. I know so many people watched that like back when it was originally on. I don't know why. I mean, it totally seems like something I would watch, but I just didn't. So totally got into that and loved it. And that was a great show to watch, during the winter because, there's tons of seasons. Probably one of the biggest things I've talked about and loved is we started watching Dexter probably, I don't know how much long after One Tree Hill we started watching it, but again, that's another show. I think they had like 9 seasons, so it was great to watch and great in the summer too when there's not a lot of new things on TV to watch. So totally loved Dexter. Back when it was on, I'd mentioned, 1, we didn't have Showtime, so we never watched it originally for that reason, and 2, it just didn't seem like a show I would like. Like, I don't know if I thought it was creepy or gross or just whatever. To me, it's totally not what I thought it would be, and I really liked it, and I think you really get into the characters. You can definitely get into the character Dexter. So that by far has been like probably one of the best series ever. And then not long after Dexter, we started watching How to Get Away with Murder, which is fantastic, as most of you know that have seen it. If not, you totally need to watch it. If you're like me and you love like a good whodunit kind of mystery, you would love that show. We're currently in season 2. I would say we started watching season 1 on Netflix sometime right around when season 2 started airing again on TV. We finished that really quick, and then of course got behind because they had already started season 2, so there was no way to really catch up. We actually started season 2 last night on iTunes, so I'm gonna watch the first 4 episodes. Of course I have to pay, but luckily I have some iTunes credit. So I'm gonna watch the first 4 episodes on iTunes, and then I think episodes 5 through whatever the latest is on Hulu. And come to find out, I was so upset that we couldn't watch season 2. You couldn't find it anywhere. I guess Hulu's streaming rights only allows them to air the latest 5 episodes. So anyway, we're gonna watch it on iTunes and catch up, and then watch it when it re-airs, you know, coming back on here probably soon. But that has been such a great show. I mean, I've really, really enjoyed that one. So as far as books, I feel like this was the year of either really good books or duds. So I started reading so many books that like I couldn't finish, that it was just terrible. And it was like, okay, it's too, you know, life's too short to waste on a crappy book. You know, I just hate that. If a book doesn't grab me fairly quickly, I'll give it up. So as many of you know, I've mentioned this before, if you follow me on Goodreads, my link is always below. You see what I'm reading, you know, how I rated it, if I liked it. There were definitely some great books that stand out. I read, you know, The Girl on the Train, which I really liked that. It had like a slow part in the middle that I was like, you know, okay, let's get on with it. But that was overall a really great book. Big Little Lies was also a great book. I actually enjoyed that book from her more than the first one, which I think was The Husband's Secret. That one was just okay to me. I liked it, but to me it wasn't as good as Big Little Lies. So that is a great one I recommend. 2 books that I actually have here that I loved. I mentioned this in a favorite was The Thyroid Healthy. If you are someone suffering from thyroid issues, or a family member, or you possibly think maybe you have a thyroid issue, I mentioned in that one favorites, you definitely need this book. January is actually Thyroid Awareness Month. Couldn't recommend this book more. It just gives really simple but great detail about what your thyroid does in the body, how it needs to convert, the correct medication and supplements you need to feel your best. As many of you know, I've been on my thyroid journey now for a little over 2 years. I believe in August it was 2 years. I do have other videos about that, so I will link them below. I started seeing a new doctor in August, and I've been on a new medication, which I think I'm finally starting to feel a little better about. Still trying to get some other hormonal issues in balance, and that's another thing. Even if it's not just your thyroid, it could be other hormones. They totally work with each other. One has to do with the other. So anyway, though, I just highly recommend this book. Really love it, especially if you're like, you know, 35 and older. Hypothyroidism is extremely common, definitely in women, you know, as you age, because your hormones start to slow down and you start having all these symptoms that you can't figure out why. Well, once you connect the dots, or if you read something like this, it connects the dots for you. You know, it just shows all the testing you need, things like that. So many of you have told me you read this book or read some of the other book recommendations I've had, or watched my other videos. I get such great emails from you all saying how, you know, I've helped lead you on the right path to get good information. There's just so much information out there. You know, definitely read whatever you can about the subject, but I highly recommend this book in particular. And then a book a lot of us read this year was The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. Now, I mentioned when I reviewed this book at first, you know, for me, I felt like I had to kind of look over some of the silliness of it, but I think at the core, it has a great message, and it really spoke to me specifically about holding on to things out of guilt. You know, you either paid a lot for it or as a gift, or, you know, you keep thinking, oh, I might use that, I might wear that. I think a lot of it, you just need to get in a different frame of mind, which this book to me totally helped with that. Get in a frame of mind so you can get rid of clutter, only have around the things that you truly love and want to use. So I really enjoyed this book as far as just giving me a new perspective on how to organize, how to, get rid of the guilt. As most of you know, I'm a naturally organized person, but I still found a lot of great information about this book. And everything I'm talking about, I will link below. So I have to have a food product in here, and this is Bark Thins. My husband and I are totally addicted to these. I think I got my husband even more so addicted. We've been, eating these for months now. This is the dark chocolate pumpkin seed with sea salt. This is our favorite. They come in many different varieties. This is actually the bigger bag that we get at Costco, which now we are picking 2 bags up at a time. So this replaces, any kind of sweet tooth you may have, and you don't need a lot. And then it's not, bad for you. You're not like sucking down a bunch of calories with ice cream or cookies or anything. Not that I still don't eat some of those, but for me, I don't need a lot because I'm not like a real chocoholic, so a little bit goes a long way with me. You can also get this on Amazon and the smaller bags at Target. We prefer to get them at Costco just because we go through them a little more often, but these are fantastic if you've not tried them. And then I cannot have a 2015 favorites without mentioning Stella and Dot. As many of you know, I became a stylist back in July, I feel like, so only a few short months, but I have just really fallen in love with it. It's been a great new adventure for me and something very natural. Many of you may or may not know, back in my early 20s, I actually worked at 2 different jewelry stores, fine jewelry. So this is kind of like coming full circle a little bit. So I'm back in with jewelry, even though this is costume jewelry. So I've really enjoyed getting back into it. I've just loved getting to know so many of you through your orders. We chit chat through email or text about an order. It's just been so rewarding, not only me growing as a stylist, but also just getting to know, my customers so much, and a lot of you are my customers. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for supporting me. We actually do have a great sign-up special in January. If you're interested, definitely shoot me an email. It's always linked below. There's too many to mention, but just to kind of, I'll link these below, but just some of my favorite pieces I just had to talk about. Most of the time you'll see me post pictures on Instagram. I do have a Stella and Dot Facebook page specifically for like any tips or anything. I am going to be having a mystery trunk show again when the new line launches here in January. So the new spring line launches very soon, so stay tuned for that. But just like the sparkle studs were definitely some of my favorites. The Aria pendant, the sideways cross. As many of you know, the sideways cross I have is not Stella and Dot, but they no longer make the one I have. So I always refer to the one from Stella and Dot because it's very, very similar. The Avalon tote and blush, absolutely loved that. The Rebel pendant, the Element necklace, of course the engravables are some of my favorite. I have on the lightning hoops here. Like I said, too many to mention, but those are some of my like kind of go-to favorite pieces. So I believe that wraps up the best of 2015. Again, I will link the best of 2014's video below and any coordinating videos that may have to do with what I talked about here. I appreciate you guys watching so much. Thanks for a great year and your support and always leaving kind comments. So here's to a great 2016. Looking forward to what the year is going to bring. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.